Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I psychoanalyze Shaun's every word.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
And Remington, how you feeling after last week's gambling debacle? And, of course, your resulting sickness.
Not layers of not great would be my response to that.
Yeah, because you still haven't quite fully recovered. You're on the path to victory. Like, you're able to record an episode with me, which is a good sign.
I like your very specific avoidance of using the phrase path to recovery.
Look, man. Sometimes recording audio-only format requires a little bit of tweaking of popular phrases that normal humans say just to make yourself seem weird and quirky. Or in my case, a bit more of a dumbass.
Avoiding the phrase, it could sound like I'm addicted to being sick, I'm injecting the sickness into my veins, which I am. You found out my secret.
This is all a grand scheme to get out of having to podcast, and it just you've slowly been building up a resistance to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I thought I would die.
Jesus fuck!
So, I thought, oh yeah, they'll never catch me, but it just didn't work out. So I've given up on that.
You have too good of a constitution score.
Yeah. So, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Here we are another week.
Yeah. And I've actually got a bit of an interesting episode prepared for you this week. Just to kind of take it easy on you for once.
Oh, okay. Take it easy on me.
Well, because we've been doing a lot of, deep dives and, some multi-episode reviews and some, really heavy-handed stuff lately, I figured it was about time we got to just a nice, simple, good old-fashioned 3-episode series,
Okay, cool. Then I support that.
Yeah.
Much better than the fucking 9 episodes we did last week. All right, 3 episodes.
3 episodes, yeah. No, I'm being straight up with you. We're going only 3 episodes in this because that's all you will need.
But very importantly, of what?
Yes, actually, all 3 episodes are about 2 hours each. Funny how that works, But we did establish a 3-episode rule, so that is what we have to stick with.
I wouldn't even be surprised if there was some anime out there like that you pulled that shit with.
No. Don't be ridiculous, Rem. Animation is way too expensive for that to ever be a thing. Except apparently in some cases it doesn't always seem to be that expensive. But with that in mind, Remington, today we're going to be talking about another Crunchyroll original that has been airing over the past couple of weeks.
Oh, I feel like we've done Crunchyroll originals before, but I can't remember how I felt about them.
I believe the best way to describe it was mixed.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Because we've only done 2 Crunchyroll originals before.
Yeah.
The first one we did was Tower of God, which was based off of the Korean manhwa webcomic.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. With the one guy who's climbing the Tower of God to find the lady that he loves.
Yeah, that was that one was a weird one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially for me, who did all the research for that one in a single day to try and catch up with trends.
Yep.
And then the next one we did was... Rem, the next one we did was... It left a mark on me, and I think it left a mark on you as well.
Ah, fuck.
Because the last Crunchyroll original we did was X-Arm.
Do
Do you remember X-Arm, Rem?
Okay. Alright. Okay.
What do you remember about X-Arm, Rem?
It was bad and weird and ugly.
Yes. All of those things and above. Easily the worst rated show we've ever consumed because it straight up was not made by people who understood how to make animated content.
All right, well, my question is are we delving into the same level of depravity this week?
No.
Perfect. Good start.
Because today, Remington, we're easily going to be talking about probably the second worst thing I've ever seen on Crunchyroll.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And partially due to the
You
fact that
son of a bitch.
I think we have to call this an April Fool's episode, Rem.
What the fuck?
Because-
Wait, no, that's a Sean.
Yeah?
That's not how the April Fool's episodes work. What?
No, trust me, I think we have to because I'm not certain this can be called anime.
What the?
Like, and
All right. What are we watching? What is it?
all right, so Remington, this is a
What unspeakable hell are you bestowing upon
This is
me?
a Crunchyroll original, exclusive only to the Crunchyroll platform. This is the kind of thing that's supposed to motivate you to get the Crunchyroll service as opposed to other streaming services. It's a new, I'm gonna call it a Cartoon Network style animated series called High Guardian Spice.
My favorite of the Spice Girls.
And there it is, folks. We got it out of the way nice and early in the first half, and we will have to resist the urge to keep making Spice Girl jokes to a very dated audience. Our audience skews young, so they might not even know who the Spice Girls are. But let me tell you, it's going to be hard not to make any more of them. So now that you've gotten our one Spice Girl joke out of the way, Rem, let me dive into what this show is, because...
What I'm just imagining...
Yeah.
Is that like that picture of like all of the Spice Girls, right? But then at the end for like High Guardian, did we say?
Yep.
High Guardian Spice. It's just this like Alphonse Elric looking motherfucker in still a nice old Spice Girls pose.
Just like a full suit of plate mail with
Yeah,
spikes
yeah.
and all, just in a very pop-centric pose.
Very kawaii.
If that's what this show was, I would love it, quality aside, because just the audacity to make a whole animated series where it's like, hey, what if Spice Girls, but dude in a suit and armor?
Just have an idol anime where one of the girls is just some giant like knight in shining armor or similar just thing, and it's never addressed. Like, it's not like, oh, it's so weird that you're this way. It's just like, yeah, they're a part of the idol group.
Yeah, 1000%. Some very baby metal vibes as well.
Yeah, I would support that mild twist.
That would have been amazing, Rem. I would have been so happy to cover that.
All right, but instead,
we've got High Guardian Spice, which I struggle to call an anime. The closest thing that it comes to being an anime is like some stylistic choices, but those same stylistic choices have been invading a lot of modern American cartoon shows. Things like your Adventure Times, your Gravity Falls, your this is a new one that my girlfriend has been trying to get me to watch, Owl House, like just these very like cutesy animated 2D styles with like some clear anime influences, but don't quite follow the same structure and story stylings of a typical Japanese animation. And is that okay to be on Crunchyroll? Absolutely. Wow. No, if Crunchyroll wants to make a show in that style and support that kind of content, 1000%. Crunchyroll can broaden their horizons into other things, so whether or not this is an anime is not me, like, bashing it on that quality alone. My issues with it are with the show itself, not whether or not it's an anime, but I just have to bring up to the fact that I struggle to know if this counts, honestly. Hence why I'm making it a pseudo-April Fool's episode.
okay, all right.
But you want to know what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so, first of all, it is pastel. It is very pink and very brightly colored. That's the nicest thing I can say about it. And what it is, Rem, is it claims to be a magic coming-of-age comedy. And that's straight from the Wikipedia page, which can be written by everybody, but, you know. It is a story about a team of young girls going to a school for adventurers to become high guardians. And their adventures and the interactions of the teams they create and go on adventures with. Now, Rem, that might sound a bit vague to you.
Yeah, it does sound like a bunch of things that I've already either heard of or directly seen multiple times.
Yes, that's because I struggle to think of anything original that's come from this show.
Oh, fuck.
The most original thing...
So you would describe it as just a pastel cliche.
Kind of.
That's what I'm saying. All right, cool. There we go.
Except it is demonstrably, like, misguided and bad in some unique ways that I have not seen in a long time. Like, for example, one of the main mascot characters is, like, a round goat.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think I might have nightmares about this goat.
Oh no.
Because it is a good 70% mouth.
Why?
Believe me, Rem, if I knew, I would not be asking these questions. In fact, here, I'm just gonna send you the picture of the cover art before we even get into it, just so you have an idea of what we're getting into.
Oh, perfect.
And that's the goat at the bottom left there.
Oh, God. What's going on with that? That goat's high as fuck.
Yeah, no, like, I did not think it was possible to display dilated pupils on a animal with horizontal pupils, but they've seemed to have done it. It's like...
You know, it's really high.
Yeah, it's also like if you told an artist to draw a goat who had never seen a goat before and just kind of vaguely described the general idea and shape of it.
It has no teeth.
No. But it has a lot of drool, as I'm sure you will find. And it just kind of shows up from time to time as well. Like, there's not really a lot of consistency to this goat, and I wish I could tell you why, because I certainly do not know. But, yeah, Rem, this show is what it's trying to do, Rem, and you'll have to really get into the nitty-gritty of it, is it's trying to be a lot of these, like, modern Cartoon Network and Disney Channel animated series that have huge fan bases and are beloved by lots of people, especially amongst folks in the LGBTQ community. Because more and more lately, a lot of these animated series are delving into topics of that and making them more of a standard part of storytelling. A lot of these
getting some representation.
Exactly. Like good, healthy representation. Which is what we need more of and more of in this series until it becomes so obviously common sense that, it's not an issue anymore. Here's the problem, Rem. I think everybody involved with the series is so misguided on what makes those shows good that they just try to shove everything in there all at the same time, all at once, in random orders, and then they realized, oh, wait a minute, the show needs to be animated and well-written as well. Let's see if we can do that somewhere down the line. Because story-wise, Rem, there's not much else I can tell you. You've got our main characters... Rosemary, Sage, Parsley, and Thyme.
All right, yep.
Yeah, no. Like, it's not subtle. It's like, they literally like, hey, what if we made all the characters named after various spices, like the hit group the Spice Girls, but this time they're magical adventurers. And then they went from there. And it is... like, the first two we meet are Rosemary and Sage. Rosemary is kind of like a weird pink pastel fighter type, and Sage is like a magical girl witch type character, and they apparently grew up together and want to be guardians together. And the first episode is them journeying to the school and starting, and oh my god, Rem, it's so hard to explain because it's so disjointed and so confusing, and we kind of need to talk about it because Crunchyroll is claiming it as an original, and
see, a part of me is like, shit, this is gonna be bad. But another part of me is like, can it be as bad as he's describing? Well,
just a little. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no Mal page for this because again, people can't even seem to agree on whether or not it counts, which I'm in the camp of it doesn't. But everywhere else you look, Rem, ratings are not great. I won't give you specific numbers, but they're not great. And since we are two white straight guys, what better type of topic for us to talk about than LGBTQ commercials? Commercials? What?
I have no idea
What
what
the
you
fuck?
were going
What
for there.
word was coming out of my mouth? I think I was trying to say the word issues. And
What the fuck?
I don't know. I might. This show has broken me, Rem. It has broken my brain. I'm having a feckin' stroke right on the podcast.
Lots of people, lots of podcasts are talking about LGBTQ plus issues. Only we are finally discussing the commercials within the community.
I think maybe I was trying to combine commitment and issues. I think that's what my brain was trying to do.
Where does commitment come into it?
I don't know. Commitment to writing a good show? I don't understand either, Rem. I'm trying to find something.
What happened?
I'm trying to find a bastion of sanity in this.
All right, let's jump into it. You're fucked up. Let's go.
It broke me, Rem. Let's go watch some High Guardian Spice, and I'm gonna start crying.
Previously.
Man.
Are you a hashtag dominant daddy, Shaun?
I want that to be my next tag on Discord. I can handle that.
Up next.
I want someone to watch High Guardian Spice and to just think, you know what? I want to do that, but better. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? Oh, my God.
Now, back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after watching 3 whole episodes of the Crunchyroll original series, High Guardian Spice. I've had a nice cup of tea, a nice little relaxing lie down, and I feel like I'm in a much better headspace to talk about this series. But the important thing is, Remington, how do you feel about this series?
Well, Shaun,
Yes?
I have 2 controversial things to say.
Oh, no. Here we go.
First of all, we talked a lot of shit about the goat in part 1.
Yep.
It looked like an abomination upon man and God. And then I saw it animated and I heard the sounds it made, and it's like this goat bullfrog monstrosity. I fell in love with it. It charmed me.
Oh my God, Remy, no!
It won
You
me
moe
over.
piece of trash! You're too far gone, my boy.
I thought I hated it, but then I saw it and it charmed me.
Rem, no!
So we talked a lot of shit about the goat in part 1. I would like to recant my feelings. It's great. I love the goat.
Oh my Christ, Rem. Oh, God. I don't know if I'm going to be able to emotionally handle this, the rest of this episode anymore. I'm going to need another cup of tea after this.
Well, my next point. All right, this anime, it's not good.
Okay.
But it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. And it's not nearly as bad as a lot of other things that we have seen. And we'll get into the details, but it's bad, but it's not like so bad that I think the weebs are justified in hating it as much as they do, right? Because, like, I can dislike it, and I understand that. But the weebs, I'm like, listen, you guys adore stuff that's as bad as this. So, like, it's in the same category, is all I'm saying.
I don't know about that, buddy. I don't know about that.
Well, I feel confident about it, but let's get into it. So, we start episode 1 with Sage and Rosemary. They're starting their journey, right? And immediately, the animation is definitely off. The animation is not good.
No, it can barely be called animation, in my opinion.
But I think the art, design, and concepts are pretty good. Pretty solid. Like, they have proper artists. They just don't know how to animate. Which it's like, it very much seems like they were like, oh yeah, well, we have people who can do this category of thing, and like they can do good art, so it feels like they should be able to do animation, but that's not quite how that works. They are separate entities. But so I'm not gonna knock the art or design of the show, because I actually think the art and design are decent for the most part. There's still some weird bits, but for the major stuff, it's solid. It's good stuff. The animation, some of the worst we've seen.
Okay.
Also, the dialogue, sometimes it's fine. Most times it's awkward as fuck.
Most times, like, it was painful for me to sit through most of it, Rem. Like, physically painful.
Oh, yeah. The dialogue, not great either. The way the characters interact with each other, it very much feels like you have, like, a 10th grader on stage is how I would describe how it feels like the dialogue is, right? And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's all a bit weird. And that goes along with sort of like the voice acting, which is very hit or miss. Some of the voice acting, I'm like, yeah, sure. Other parts, I'm like, why? So they end up going to Lindgar or something or other. I don't know. Lindgarth. They get to Lindgarth, which is where the school is. They arrive and they're taken in by one of their, like, cousins or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yep. Cousins.
And let's see. At one point, they're going the next day. They go through like the markets and stuff, and then this little what's called a Trixie, a little creature, steals a locket, runs around. There's a mating ritual with the Trixie, which causes it to evolve.
Rem, I didn't realize it was that kind of show, Rem.
Hey. It causes the Trixie to, like, evolve, and they break the locket after finding a partner. And that we also meet an elf and a blacksmith, and then they go to school. So, not a whole lot happens. Like, but I can't even really say that. A lot happens in every episode thus far, right? They are filled to the brim with stuff, but it doesn't feel like much of it is meaningful stuff. It's not stuff that moves it forward. It's just like miscellaneous, but it's not fully like the show wants to be an adventure anime, right? But it also wants to be slice of life, and I don't think it balances those well because it wants to have the importance of an adventure while having a lot of the events of slice of life, and those do not work well with one another, unfortunately. Also, while the opening song is not great but fine, the ending song, oh my god, it is horrendous.
I tried blocking it out.
The opening, not great. The closing, oh fuck me. Oh no. Thankfully, like, you can just, if you were theoretically watching it, like in my situation, you can just skip it because it's the end of the episode and there's never anything relevant after. So, thank goodness for that. Overall, like, in the first episode, I could tell that this show was made with passion, right? I truly believe that the people who made this care a lot, but it lacks a lot of polish. Passion, but not polish, which isn't great. And this is something that we've talked about before, right? Like, I think one of the closest comparisons we can make right off the bat is, like, Ruby, right? Where there's a lot of passion, a lot of ideas, a lot of interesting concepts, but a lot of that polish isn't quite there.
I mean, I'm willing to argue that Ruby has way more polish than this series does.
In a lot of ways, sure. In a lot of other ways, not quite. I would say I probably prefer Ruby, but they're quite similar for me.
Man, what? You're gonna piss off a lot of Ruby.
I don't mind. I think this really would work better is as a visual novel, because you'd get rid of the sometimes awkward voice acting and the terrible animation, right?
Right.
You would just have the decent design. As a visual novel, there's a strong emphasis starting in the next episode on the actual classes and stuff, which I think would work well for a visual novel. that doesn't work as well in a show, as we'll get to. I think a lot of the not great dialogue there would be a greater leniency in a visual novel style, right? I genuinely feel like it would be not a visual novel I would enjoy playing, but still like a visual novel that people would really, really enjoy. If it was in that format instead.
So you're saying that as a show, it's pointless.
As a show, I don't even know if it's pointless, because I think that I think it's interesting. I think the show is interesting, and I admire and appreciate that, despite it not being good. Because essentially what I want from the show doesn't come from the show itself, but I want someone to watch High Guardian Spice and to just think, you know what? I want to do that, but better. Right? Because like it is a passion project, and I've mentioned this like multiple times on the podcast. Whenever we get like, I mentioned this for Ruby, I'm mentioning it here. I've mentioned it for at least like 2 other shows where I'm like, there's a lot of passion, but not a lot of polish, right? And I've mentioned that before. And those are always very fascinating shows to me, and I appreciate them existing. But because they're passion projects rather than like some more like proper studio-oriented commercialized creations, that means that a lot of the polish isn't going to be there, and that's unfortunate. But it also means they can take some more risks, which I do appreciate. Episode 2 is when I realized that there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, the disclaimer makes no goddamn sense. Why aren't you...
There's a mature audience warning, which blew my fucking mind. Because one of the things I wrote in my notes for episode 1 was that it would work. I think this show would genuinely be fine for a very young audience, right? It's colorful, it's bright, and so I think that it has like enough going on where for like an elementary school audience, I'm like, yeah, that it would be genuinely like solid for them, right? But you got this mature audience warning.
Yeah.
And why? And once again, it goes sort of into that being like a passion project, right? Where it's like, well, we don't want to be limited to just being a kid's show, but it's like, maybe you should have just like leaned in a little bit more to just being a kid's show. Like with the being a passion project, you're losing a lot of what could be a strong identity, right? Because you want to fit absolutely everything that you want in there. So, unfortunately, with passion projects, it's really hard to cut out the different ideas that you're passionate about, right? Mm-hmm. But that's why you need a bigger studio to be like, hey, this element that you really love, it's not working. So even though you really love it, it doesn't cohere with the rest of it. But yeah, so that mature audience warning threw me for a fucking loop.
Oh yeah, and from what I can tell, the only thing that could theoretically justify the mature audience rating is, I think they say bastard once.
Well, and there's like, in episode 3, there's a fight scene where I would describe it as unnecessarily bloody. Not because there's a lot of blood, because there's not a ton.
Yeah.
But there's more than you would want in a kids show, and I'm still in the mentality of like, you should have just let it. It can be an action-packed kids show, but you should have just sort of let it be a kids show, I think.
Yeah.
I think it could work as a kids show or a visual novel, essentially. But trying to be taken more seriously, I do not think it works at all. The episode 2 is mostly about we see our main characters, right? Sage and Rosemary, as well as our Parsley, I think.
Yep, Parsley and Time.
Yeah, Time has done hardly anything.
Yeah.
Time is just a broody elf.
Yep.
But we see each of the 3 go through their respective days, and each through their different courses, which is a totally fine and neat idea. I think the world building in this show is decent. there's clearly some thought put into it, and they want to show off, like, hey, look at our cool little adventuring school, right? Which I totally get it. But the problem is that there's not a strong, like, plot in this episode either. So, they just, things are happening, and it doesn't feel as meaningful as it could, unfortunately. For Rosemary, she's going through, like, the warrior classes and stuff, right? And so she tries to pass notes with this boy, but he ignores her. And she tries to learn some battle tactics, but she's the worst in her class thus far. Sage is doing some wizard stuff, and she's very talented, but there's this bitchy wizard who's just awful to her. There's a potions class where the teacher just poisons all of the tea that she offers the students, and it's up to Sage to fix it real quick. And then you have Parsley, who's just really good at smithing. And that's episode 2. And then episode 2 does end with vows, which one of the best parts of the episode, and sort of just about the show. I think they have a decent ensemble cast, and like they go through, the idea was, all right, give your guardian vows into the well and what you think they should be, and then we'll tell you what like they actually are at the end. And so we actually get to hear all of the different possible interpretations from the different students about like what the guardian vows mean to them, right? Which I thought, like, that's a nice little character moment. Quickly get into the psyche of many different characters in a nice, interesting way. Overall, the episode's a dud, but it once again, the ideas are there. It's just the execution that's really not. Finally, we get to episode 3, where Rose, she breaks her sword and has to talk to Caraway, another teacher, to fix it. And Caraway reminisces about Rosemary's mom and how great friends they were and all that fun stuff. Sage, because of the bitchy wizard girl, accidentally creates a potion that turns her cat both sentient and buff-ass furry nonsense. And he finds rot, which is like this darkness inside of a tree and whatever. And meanwhile, Parsley goes on a little adventure because of her smithing teacher, where she goes through tunnels underneath the school. Which, like, yeah, it's all fine stuff. Once again, there's a whole lot going on, but not a lot that I was invested in. It was just sort of there.
Just sort of there, huh?
Yeah. I think there are issues with the general, like, script and pacing. But I maintain, so obviously, with my critiques of the show, it's not a good show. But it didn't send me into the abyss. Like, I thought this show was going to be a lot worse, and I disagree with, like, the terrible reputation it has garnered. Not because I don't think it doesn't deserve it, but I don't think it deserves it in the weeb spheres, right? Because, like, I've seen what y'all motherfuckers enjoy and like and praise and get mad at me for dissing, right? And a lot of that stuff, with all due respect, is as bad or worse.
Do you have any examples?
It depends how controversial I want to be. Let me put it this way. I would rather watch High Guardian Spice than Attack on Titan.
Okay, so I'm with you there, but that's... Listen, bud, listen. You know that's our... That's our Citizen Kane. We can't really... It's not a fair comparison when it comes to us.
No, but I think that, like, overall, like, I've watched plenty of things that don't have great scripts or dialogue or pacing. Like, I think the animation is one of the most notable problems, and good God, is it bad. But at the same time, like... I don't think that's the only criteria that's getting it bogged down. If animation is someone's number one priority, then yes, this will be your least favorite anime. But if any other criteria is in your top spot, or if you have a mix, then, like, yeah, this show is bad, But is it that much worse than a lot of the bullshit? I don't think so. I'm rating this a solid like 3 out of 10, maybe 3.5 out of 10 if I'm feeling generous. Which is obviously just a terrible rating.
Yeah.
But I've rated a bunch of stuff in that like 2 to 4 range that people are putting in their 7 or 8s or 9s or 10s. So I'm like, listen, I know why I hate this, but why the fuck do you hate this? Like, I just feel like it's not consistent. And obviously, there's the issues, and I think it's possibly fair, is like, there's gonna be a category of people, and I don't think this, I wouldn't go so far as to say this is the majority, whatever, who capitalize on the wokeness of this show, right? And be like, look how terrible it is for all of these other reasons, but also one of the major reasons I hate it is because there's like an openly trans characters or bullshit like that, right? It's a woke show that you could, one, hate for being woke, while two, pointing to a bunch of other reasons instead of the wokeness, if that makes sense. Which, once again, I'm not saying all the hate it gets is just because of the wokeness. I'm rating this a 3 out of 10, y'all. Like, I want to be clear. My argument isn't that this show is good. It's just that it's not categorically worse than the vast majority of other nonsense I've had to endure.
Yeah. As for the topic of wokeness and LGBTQ stuff in it, there's been a lot of conversations about it, ranging from all ends of the spectrum. That's a bad pun and unintentional for once. And a lot of it is... A lot of people in the community have said that it feels like they are forcing the issue a bit too much, and other people think it's non-intrusive, but there's a large vocal community about the LGBTQ stuff in this. Like, they want more inclusion of this stuff, but it feels like the way that they've written everything in a bit ham-fisted and shoehorned. Like, one of the...
I would describe it as not intrusive, but definitely noticeable.
Yes.
Right? That would be my... So I don't think it's, like, over the top by any means, at least from the stuff I've seen. There was, like, one conversation where I was like, that probably could have been, like, cut in half. But even then, it's not because, like, the conversation was, like, super long. It was just slightly longer than I think it needed.
Yeah, like, one example that I noticed a lot that I could see where people are coming from is with the two married cousin characters in the beginning. Because, I mean, it's very clearly from when you first see them that, you know, they're in a relationship and married, which is great. That's fine. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
But then literally every frame they're in, if they are not, like, in a, oh, guess what, we're married pose, there is literally a giant-ass portrait of them on their marriage day right behind them just in frame. Like, in lots of shots, which is like, y'all, you don't need to be so shouty about it. We get it. Cool.
But I'm also sort of, like, of the opinion of, like, if this was a straight couple doing the same, we would just be like, that's not great characterization.
Yeah.
We would just be like, that's a bit of an annoying character choice, and that would be, like, then we would move on from it. So, like, yeah, I agree. Like, they wanted to make it very upfront. I would say it's definitely noticeable, but it's not what the show revolves around. Mm-hmm. It is a theme of the show. It exists, and you will notice it. But it so far, I wouldn't say, like, the show has gotten up on a soapbox or anything. It just made it clear, like, hey, this is where we stand, and it made it, once again, quite noticeable. And I think in a lot of places, I would agree there's slightly too much emphasis. But overall, while I think that while I can point to specific problems in the representation, I still think the overall fact of the representation is a net positive. So it's a flawed positive, but I would still label it as a positive.
Okay, interesting. I just know that researching it myself, by myself, sitting in a dark room, listening to these tiny ladies talk about how it's not that bad that she nearly cut somebody's head off. Look, I'm just saying that the main character should not be allowed to have a sword. That's one of my biggest things.
Oh, yeah, no, I fully agree. I wondered that multiple times where I was like, she is wildly irresponsible with it. I was sort of hoping And I knew this wouldn't happen, but especially like with that mature audience warning, right? I was hoping we would get a little darker, a little Madoka, a little Promised Neverland, right? At one point we have Parsley under floorboards and stuff as she's getting back to the school from the tunnel. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be like super interesting if like under these floorboards you heard some shit you definitely shouldn't have heard.
Yeah.
That's nice and fucked up. Like, and I think that could be super interesting and justify the mature audience warning, and that'd be cool. But that's what I always want. So, you know, that's just me.
You always want, like, drama, intrigue, and potential child murder to be involved.
Yes, yeah, especially when it's like, hey, look, it's all fine and dandy. But it's fucking not, though. Gotcha. Like, but yeah, so I think this show is a pretty normal amount of bad for anime. That's my thoughts on it.
Oof. And
it does some things better than many anime. It does a lot of things much worse.
You know what I think is one of its greatest sins, Remington? You know, Parsley, what race, do you know what race of creature she is?
You know? Let me put it this way. I don't know. She could just be human.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to provide another answer in case that's the case.
She's definitely not. And when I was watching it, I thought,
okay, cool.
Oh, look, it's a halfling. Or like, you know, a gnome or a hobby, you know, pretty standard thing. Apparently she's actually a dwarf. Do you get dwarf vibes from her? Because I don't get dwarf vibes from her.
Not a ton, but I sort of didn't know what they were going for.
Look, all I'm saying
Parsley
is give Parsley a beard, you cowards. If you're gonna make him a dwarf, give him a beard, or at least some stubble. Just saying. That's just my opinion as a fantasy nerd.
Sean's opinion is that every dwarf needs facial hair. Like straight out of the womb.
I mean, hey,
basically.
look.
As soon as they were born, they got and it's pre-braided.
I don't make the rules, Rem. I just enforce them. And dwarves have to have a certain amount of stocky, nature to them. Parsley is just kind of a weird little dumpling mini elf, is what she looks like. And I don't know. Sure. I just feel like that's bad dwarf representation in my book. And not enough people are talking about it. And I feel like I am the only one who's upset with this.
It's really Shaun actually had this as a 6 out of 10 show, but once he saw the dwarf without a beard, it dropped to -3 out of 10. It's just really, really dramatic.
Yeah, she's not even Scottish. Not even Scottish. Or not even like with a New York style Jersey accent either. You know, like that would have been acceptable too, but no. Just bad dwarf representation, and my contacts with the Dwarven Embassy will have words with this anime.
Oh yeah.
If you can still call it that, I don't know, man. Like, it just feels too much like an American cartoon for me to.
I think, Shaun, you're being hypocritical here. I think you've bought in to the anti-hype.
I don't know.
Right? Because this motherfucker has gone, like, for me, I'm pretty sure it's just an American production, so I can say logically consistent. I think it presents itself as anime, following any definition or concept of anime that you have presented. I think it fits your criteria, and you're just trying to deliberately exclude it because of all the antagonism against it, Shaun.
That is definitely not what I'm doing. I'm doing it because it does not. There's a certain feeling about it that just makes it feel like one of.
No, the feeling about it is just you don't like it.
That is a feeling, yes. But there's a lot of anime,
and a lot of people are like, "This isn't real anime," and you're like, "Yes, I must follow the weebs." Listen, Shaun, you can follow the weebs, or you can be intellectually consistent. You can't be both.
Look, I'm just saying. It feels like this show fits in perfectly on Cartoon Network. That's all I'm saying. Like, not even like Toonami level. Like primetime Cartoon Network slot is what it feels like to me. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's the feeling I get.
Oh, and as we all know, This motherfucker, you were the one who classified Avatar, which showed up on Nickelodeon, as anime. So if you classify Avatar, I think you have to classify High Guardian Spice. If you don't classify Avatar, I think you're fine.
I feel like Avatar's different though, Rem.
No, the difference is that you and other weebs like it. That's the difference, Shaun. I want to make it so abundantly clear that is the primary difference here.
No, it's not just that, damn it. It's about story structure as well, Rem.
Story structure? Oh, yes, because we all know that anime follows one very specific. If it's not Nisekai, it's not anime. What the fuck are you talking about, Shaun? Shaun, you've let this break your brain.
My brain has been broken for years, Rem. I'm trying to put the pieces together, and you're making it not very easy for me, damn it.
I'm making sure you don't put it together in a flawed and broken way.
This show made me flawed and broken, damn it. It made me change perspective on things. How am I supposed to call it an anime if it doesn't have a Mal page, Rem? That's where I go. That's where I go for one of our bits. How am I supposed to end the podcast now, Rem? Talk about IMDb reviews? Because, yeah, that's what I've got. That's literally what I've got. I've got the Crunchyroll reviews and the IMDb reviews pulled up. That's what I've got. I don't have our consistent theming. Right.
Well, the man has been broken.
I just don't understand, Ram. I don't understand. But, okay, if you had to give this a rating out of 10, you said about like a 2.3?
I said about a 3, maybe a 3.5 if I'm feeling generous.
And if you had to guess, based on, let's see, approximately 500 reviews on Crunchyroll and about 1,000 reviews on IMDb, what do you think the vast majority of people gave it?
Is it out of 5 or 10?
Crunchyroll does it on a star system out of 5, and it goes like to the point degrees. And IMDb is, of course, out of 10.
All right. I think both of them are going to be like just sort of split it in half. So I think around, I'm going to say 2.5. Straight up just 2.5 and 5. Those are my guesses. I think it's just going to be
okay.
Flat
Well,
down
on
the middle.
Crunchyroll with about 500 ratings, High Guardian Spice is sitting at a 2.3 out of 5.
Yep.
Which it's a weird split, I'll say that, because there's like the majority of the votes are for 1 star, right? Which, you know, is a thing. And then the second majority is for 5 stars, which is absurd to me. Maybe it's their way of counteracting review bombing. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know how I could ever in good faith give that a max rating. But then again, small numbers, so it's a bit harder. Whereas IMDb is with about 1,000 ratings. It is sitting at a staggeringly low 1.3 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which is quite low. And I'll tell you right now, some of the reviews I've been reading on the show, a lot of the 1-star reviews are people who should not be reviewing content. Let me just put it to you that way. Because,
perfect.
My Christ, they're, taking a simple writing class would help people a lot, I feel, is my thought. Because a lot of the reviews that are putting it at between a 3 and a 5 feel like the most honest ones, whereas the ones in the 10s are especially concerning in this light. Like some of the reviews range from absolutely appalling to it's a moving slideshow to just literally the worst thing I've ever watched, which I disagree with that. Like, we've seen X-Arm. X-Arm was far worse. With a review saying, with another review saying, and I thought X-Arm was bad. And I'm like, look, buddy, go back and watch X-Arm and tell me if you think this show is worse. At least when you pause it, like, a good 30% of the time, it's not terrible to look at.
Yeah, like, once again, I think that there's too much negative press about High Guardian Spice. It's not, it's bad. It's not uniquely so.
I think my biggest frustrations with it, Rem, as a fantasy nerd specifically, it rubs me the wrong way. Not to mention the dwarf misrepresentation. But with that, Remington, I guess the final question to ask, is there any chance you'd like to watch more High Guardian Spice?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stay away myself. I don't think this is a healthy show for me to talk about, Rem.
Yeah, it's
Little
broken
bit,
brain, so.
All right, but with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed me really having a hard time for an episode, which doesn't happen all the time, but this one just was rough for me, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and leave us a review. It means the world to us, and we are grateful for every single one. But if you'd like to support us more directly, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where you can watch myself and Remington play Vigia games from time to time and get mad at each other for increasingly stupid reasons.
Heck
And
yeah.
if you'd like to support us even more directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have your name read aloud live on the podcast. So, Remington, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our magical girls, as well as our bland bitch protagonists, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we reach our yandere waifus, who in a solid 10 frames per second are torturing us with their love. And on that list, we have Alex, Xanax, Yandere Neko, Yahir, Walk Me Home Gently, VTubers Ruined My YouTube Algorithm, Faney Jordan, Juliana, Tsundere Dragon, Totally God, The Susanator, Sticky Jelly, Sorry Mother, Silent Secondary. Shaun, if you were a fruit, you'd be a fine apple, but on the same note, if you were a vegetable, I'd pull the plug. Senpai ga Uzai Kohai no Hanashi is everything I wished it would be. Sarah Birch, Sammy Pritchard, Salty Pretzel. Oh, fucking me. Alright. One moment. Rinfleisch Ticketierang Suberwangshang South Gabun Duber Dragon Sketsits.
Not to insult whatever language you tried to pronounce, but it does sound like you were in, like...
There were no spaces! They filled up half the character limit with German nonsense, and there were 0 spaces. Remington, part 3 to 5 are much more stable, and you would have no problem with it. Also, you could show Shaun JoJo Siwa season 2. H. Remington Merrill, ready to be isekai. PSA 3, don't overcommit. It's all fun and games at a gaming convention until neglect tasks ambush you and you implode from stress. Please hire Remington Chase, the Mentalist. Hell yeah, brother! No waifu, no laifu. Navi, Mr. Cannon Crippletron, don't take a fuck. Mike the Mutilator, Matthew Drum Says Rem's a Bitch, Monk Shop 92, Lukey O, Luke Offenberger, Lucifer, Lone the Geek 23, Locked in Daddy Rem's Basement, Don't Send Help, Cosm Morocco, Just a Traveler, Jax, If the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists, If Miss Frizzle drove the magic school bus into the peeper of Thanos, could she end the Infinity War since Ant-Man failed us? Good God. Ichigo Sim 015, I, Remington Chase, declare my love for Mei Mizaki's eye patch. I, Remington, enjoy Moe Lolly Girls. I believe in Taiga supremacy. Aha, you thought this was another Green Day repeat, but it was me, Dio. Hunter Davies. Hey, Rem, let me tongue punch your fart box. Guilty Gear is a game where a 3-year-old gets pregnant. What the fuck? Good job, says Misaga. Glenn Michael Dolan. Ghost Subishi character ASMR has ruined my life. Gate Duck, Fuck of Love Foxen Boy, Fern the Dude Man, Farmer Weeb wants to Joey Wheeler. Hey, Yugs, Goku asks Patreon members to lend their energy for Thor Christmas revisit. Fallen Ghoul, Dylan Hayden. Don't stack your climax cards together in waiting room and shuffle into the deck. Don't be a White Swords cheat. Data type, Darkswarm 713, Danny Morabito. Creed 13, Cody, Shine 900, Christian Moss, Cheese Monkey, Cage in the House, Broke Bitch, Brock Hard for Geodudes. Autumn, Ariel Bird, Anime Antpa in Context, Andrew Rauke, Elise Howard, Alpha Weeb, AJ Honey, Adam McLaughlin. A series of unpronounceable phrases, each more unpronounceable than the last. Thank absolutely each one of you. But now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. Moving over to Hogwarts. But, Shaun, Boy Wizard, or flip those around, Wizard Boy, flip those a bit, Magical Girl. Everyone's getting a Magical Girl this week. See, it's still related. It's fine. It's fine.
Fucking Hermione Granger is my favorite magical girl.
You may say the barrel has fallen into the abyss, however say it was made in the abyss. You get Hermione Granger, all right? You're gonna, so that we can, like, start off strong and as if we're still making it work. I just have a couple lists of a bunch of magical girls. I don't think Shaun will know most of these. I won't. So, warning, you may have reached the bottom of the barrel. You get Tokyo Mew Mew.
Oh God! Hilariously, Rem, we have received a fan art of us as Tokyo Mew Mew style magical girls.
Oh fuck. Shaun, I have to admit, I watch Boku no Pico in my free time and I love it. You are gonna get Sailor Moon. Rem's Big Toe. You are going to get Tsukikage Yuri. It's all yours. Pocket Gamer 513. You are gonna get Sakura Kinomoto. P.I. Mare, you're gonna get Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoa. Filkster the Sympho Gear Advocate, you are gonna get Shugo Chara.
Just
I know nothing about any.
The way you said that one made it sound like, oh, are you watching your Narutos?
I don't know any of these. No Gen 5, alright, so how about an anime gremlin inside her name shall be Badar-chan, check Discord, Lord Brockdoof. Brockdoof, you are gonna get, Snow White.
Yeah?
Which apparently is a magical girl. Alright, I trust it. Mizrar, you're gonna get Card Captor Sakura. Yep. MT the Poet, you're gonna get Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Just the whole show, huh?
I guess. Yeah, apparently. That was for Mizrar. MT the Poet, you are gonna get Ryoko Matoi, which I don't know if that counts, but I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, no,
so,
she's
sure.
got a whole magical girl transformation, and she gets powerful when she transforms. Yeah, it counts.
Yeah. Mama the Griff, you get Sailor Saturn.
All right.
Miguel Deleon, you are going to get Anthe Himamiya? I don't know. Kickstarter of the Week 3, Dragon Baggins. Do you want a cute dice bag? Looks like a dragon? Hell yeah, dude. We all do. And you are gonna get Hamura Akemi.
Yep.
Justin Kessinger, you are going to get Lucia from Mermaid Melody, whatever the fuck.
God, the fact that we haven't done a magical girl anime in a long ass time is really throwing you for a loop now, isn't it?
I Live in Ogden. Yes, that one. You are gonna get Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls.
I guess that does that. I kind of.
It is a girl, and they are in fact
they're
magical,
more like a
so,
a traditional superhero than the. You know what? Whatever, I'll allow it. It's fine.
Then we get I Live in Ogden. Yes, that one. You're gonna get Sean Rollins.
Wait a minute.
Hinata's
Since
a
when
ball
am
of
I a
sunshine.
magical girl?
You've always been. Hinata's a ball of sunshine. You get Sage from the show we
wow.
just saw. For Christmas, please revisit Toradora up to and including the Christmas episode. You get Santa, fittingly.
Santa, as in Santa Claus.
What? Yes. Best
Ho
magical
ho
girl.
ho, moe moe beam. Anyway.
Darth Pikachu, you are going to get I can't pull up a specific character right now, but all the characters from Little Witch Academia. Just every single
one of them. All of them. You're mashed together.
Yeah. Beethoven 1201, you are going to get who's magical from Sword Art Online?
Fuck, I don't know. Technically Asuna and yeah.
All right, you get Asuna. Congrats. Aaron Hegland, you are gonna get Umaru-chan.
Can that be called a magical girl transformation?
She has the transformation. So there you go, Aaron. Thank absolutely each and every one of you. But we move on finally to the final tier. Chef no Musco tier. Going to the White House. And you guys are each gonna get your own dinner with a Spice Girl.
Oh boy, I hope I get cilantro.
All right, Silicone Spectre, you're getting Scary Spice. Ooh. Yeah. Then Pope of the Church of Remington Chase, you are going to get Baby Spice. And my dear old mom is going to get the millennial of the group, Pumpkin Spice. There we go. There we are. If you'd like to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We all love you very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Alright, step 1. Imagine me naked on your bed. Fucking a horse? I'm reading here, it says you wanna fuck a horse? I'm addicted to fucking a horse? Just redo that. Don't keep the burp in there, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'll redo the line. Don't worry. It's not like Dylan will edit it out, though, because he hates me.